Alright, before anyone talks about running this card in a deck with events, fuck you. Like, in my 4 rounds, I opened runner every game, I milled multiple times, I whiffed once, and it was on milling a climax. So chill the fuck out and play 4 runners, it's OP.
Hey YouTube, Strictly Broken here. We're just chilling at the lobby of a hotel, and I'm here with, I guess you can introduce yourself, man. What's good?
Hey guys, I'm Butts and Coconuts. I'm here with my boy Yue Pang, Strictly Broken TCG, to talk about the deck I played at Nats. I went 2-2 scrub out, but I like this deck a lot. I have some thoughts about it. I want to talk about it.
What deck is it?
It is Symphogear.
Alright, let's just get straight to it. Yeah, I think this guy you tested a lot of it before the event, right?
Yeah, I tested an absurd amount of Symphogear since it came out. I just like Symphogear, and I was really excited for the new set. And I was really disappointed with a lot of the decks I made before the set came out, like the trial deck list. So then I just started messing around, and I found something that really worked better than anything else I tested.
Alright, dope. Let's see what's going on here.
Alright, so 4 runner. 4 Rize only gets Tsubasa or Kanade cards. That's important. 4 of this is a Clock Bond to your level 1 plus in combo, and it's also an assist for that card. And then 3 Search Brainstorm with the 2 Love Root anti-salvage effect. At level 1 we got 4 of these. It's basically a 5/5 printed Minami from Cinderella Girls. 3 of this Draw Brainstorm that gives a level to front and plus 500 to front. 3 of this card that pay bonds to the level 2 Amino Habakiri event, and then 1 level 1 punch. At level 2, we got 2 of this level assist that gains a marker on play, and you can spend the marker to play an event, or to substitute a stock for an event. We got 4 of this Amino Habakiri change event, 1 Ghost Punch. And then at level 3, 2 of the Crisp Burner, 3 of the new Tsubasa Burner, and 4 of the old Tsubasa Healer. This is a healer as well. And then Climax is 4 book, 4 pants. So the goal of the deck, more or less, is you're trying to aggressively get a lot of stock early. You have cards that facilitate tri-fields really well in this deck. Like if you open runner, and then your next turn, let's say you use this card, and this card ends up in waiting room from this effect, and you add this to hand, you can play this, Clock Bomb this to hand, you'll still have a full hand, and you'll have 3 attackers. Super easy to do, it happens to me a lot. So you get early pressure, you transition into playing a bunch of these, because they're clock bondable. You get pluses off of that, you refresh at level 1, much like CG does, and then the cool shit starts happening. So, combo in the deck, or the goal of the deck, I guess, is you're trying to play these cards. You're trying to play the G Tsubasa. This card is a healer, and when it attacks with the gate out, not the gate, the book, you can pay 1, draw a card, and it gains 3k till the end of your opponent's turn. So, not an early play. So, what do? You have this card and this card. So this is 500 and a level to front. This is pay bond for this. And this card, you return a level 2 Tsubasa to your hand, and then play any level Tsubasa from your hand into play. So this in front of this, you play this, you bond this. This is now level 2. You pay this, you return this to hand, you play Tsubasa, and you can keep doing that for as long as you have stock and you have level 3 Tsubasas in hand. You can put out either level 3 Tsubasa, but I prefer this one because it's a way for you to get card advantage just through drawing, and it's a way for you to get card advantage through having 13k plus walls. This plus level assist, it's going to be 14-5, and if you field multiple of it consistently every game, your opponent shouldn't be able to reverse all of them. It's a very annoying card to deal with. They can, in most good circumstances, they can anti-change bomb one of them. So then you heal a lot with this deck, because this eventually becomes a 1-stock heal. If you start accumulating these in your hands, you can either keep doing this loop, you can bounce the level assist, which is just naturally level 2, or you can bounce healers you already have in play to replay them and heal again and again. I've had games where I've healed 6 to 8 times.
At level 2?
Not at level 2, but like 4 of them at level 2, 4 of them at level 3, for instance. Which is insanely powerful, just because like how efficiently you do it. Another nice thing is, even if you do get anti-changed, it doesn't feel that bad because it wasn't super resource intensive. It's basically you're doing a 2-stock anti-change with this loop. But because you're pay bonding to this every time, you're not really losing cards. The way it works, like hand economy wise, is after each loop you have 1 less card in hand, and the card you don't have in hand is the Tsubasa you just put in play.
So it's just like playing down a character.
Yeah, it's like playing down a character, and then these cards are just pretty over-spec for what they are because they aren't printed as early plays, so they don't have to be balanced around that, right? So because you could just cheese these out at level 2 with these cards, I would argue that these cards are just generally slightly more powerful than early plays that exist, at least based on how Weiss budget affects. Anyway, so you heal a lot, you bully them with these huge characters, you plus a lot, and then eventually you just try to end the game with this, which on attack you pay 3, ditch 2, burn 3. So I came to the conclusion that I really wanted to try that. Well, I really liked this deck after testing it, and the reason I wanted to try this deck is because there's a intended double early play combo in this set that I have a lot of problems with. It is a Kanade. Basically, when you play Door, you can summon this card from your level zone by pitching a card, and you swap this card in your level zone with a card on field. The problem I had with that was it seemed like a lot of setup, and without playing extra jank I didn't like a level swapper, you could only do this once. You could only double early play this out once, unless you leveled up multiple of these. Another thing I really disliked about the Kanade is it doesn't let you play the Brainstorm. This Brainstorm is the only plussing Brainstorm, well, that's not true. It's the only level 0 plussing Brainstorm with Tsubasa on it, so you can't get this with your Rize or your combos.
Or you can get this, and then you can't get the other one.
You can't get the other Brainstorms, and this Brainstorm is just randomly beneficial in having the anti-salvage effect, but if you would have this, that means you couldn't use the doors that you're supposed to be playing with Kanade. The final thing I really did not like about Kanade is her early play condition is you need this card in clock, and I think this is absolutely one of the best cards in the deck. Like a Rize/Akatsuki sort of effect is so good that you shouldn't have to second guess, like, do I want to play my very good card, or do I want to hold this all game just so I could do my, lackluster double early play combo. The idea of the double early play combo as well is that the Kanade, during their draw step, you give 2k to 2 of your characters, so you give it to the Kanade and the Tsubasa. But just fielding multiple of these and getting the book, these will be 14-5 with level assist, versus the Kanade and Tsubasa will be like about the same, but this was much less work, and you have much more cards to work with.
So am I able to ask questions?
Yeah.
So this is pretty slot heavy. This interaction is pretty slot heavy for the deck in comparison to the Kanade, right?
Yeah.
Also, selection, having a Minami combo, the selection could be an issue. How did you? I mean, you're doing 3/3 ratio, so that's pretty heavy already. Like, how did you combat this?
3/3 of this.
Yeah.
You mean?
And then 4 of this. So how did you combat like the selection problem that I think doing a Minami combo sometimes has?
Well, first of all, this card has Shift. Shift is broken. Shift means I could just take this randomly as damage, and it basically is like it went to my hand. There's actually a game where bottom 6 cards in my deck, in the tournament, bottom 6 cards in my deck, had 2 copies of both of these. I swear I was going to lose that game. Then I took damage in such a way that I leveled, and this was in my clock after he was done attacking. And then I used another effect to find this Brainstorm, and then I immediately played 3 level 3 Tsubasas on a turn that I thought I was going to absolutely lose the game. That's sacking, but it's like whatever, right? I started this at 2/2. The thing about 3/3 is this deck is like all in on this early play Tsubasa strategy. I feel like the redundant pieces are so important. Because something I figured out really fast is the Minami combo kind of sucks. Like, you don't need to play the combo to win. You can clock bond through level 1 as your card advantage. I've had games where I just can't get the pants for some reason. So then I just end up clock bonding or triggering my plussing triggers because I play 8 plussing triggers, and I like attacking 3 times from the first turn. You can attack 3 times onward. You're just going to trigger more plussing triggers because you have more attacks. Like, that makes sense, right? So, like, you don't need Minami to plus generally, is what I've found. Sometimes you need Minami to fill in the blanks, but you have a Rize. Like, all your pieces can be found by your Rize and your Brainstorm as well. Like, I've had plenty of games where I didn't Minami and then I transitioned into level 2 just fine, playing a bunch of these and proceeding to, you know, do my strategy, achieve my strategy.
What was the... So you put 4 copies of this, 3 copies of... Do you have a specific reason why this is 4, this is 3, and not the other way around, or like less copies of each?
So when I first started the deck, I believe I was 4 here, 3 here, because I thought that this card had to be amazing. It was new. It's Honor's Burn. It's an optional memory kick. The more I played the deck, the more I found myself gravitating to the strategy of doing multiple of these. And just because of the nature of your combo, the nature of how you're finding your pieces, and just the nature of the deck being all in on this strategy, like, I just found more copies of the important pieces was better. This card basically made it into a deck because I was like laughing to myself. Like, something about the card just seemed really bad to me. Bad. It's just one of those things where I'm like, this card's so bad. You draw a card and it's like 14-5, like 1500, and then I stopped and I'm like, what can kill that? What combats that easily? And if there is a deck that combats it easily, you can use your plussing like more towards your the counters in the deck to try to combat that. There's a bit of matchup knowledge required. I think anyone should have a pretty good idea of what other decks have as far as anti-change options if they're playing a double early play or a multiple early play set of decks, so they don't get blown out. Another thing I really liked about this card is a lot of double early play decks. It's like an arms race to see who double early plays first. This card doesn't care, because if you go first and you combo, these are 14-5. If you go second and you combo, these are 14-5.
So you're only losing to like a anti-change counter on like a 13,000 or 12-5 card,
Yeah.
because okay.
But even then, it might turn into some like really weird, something like an Idolmaster match where everyone is just citing each other's like high-level characters, waiting for someone to get impatient or mess up. I feel like this deck can do that because you don't really run out of healers because of how readily available this card is in your deck. This card being the event.
Yeah, this one. All right, looks good. Anything you want to talk about your matchups or any?
From the tournament?
Yeah, just kind of get an insight about like what kind of happened during the matchups.
Well, this is the part where I look like a fucking fraud.
Yeah.
Round 1, I played against OG Love Live. It was a dude playing the second year Snow Halation combo. That was pretty free. There's like an Umi that salvages 2 on attack, so GG, man. Game 2, played against Clinton Chan. He won Worlds in 2015 in English. Really cool guy, never met him before. He was playing Guardian, which is often revered as like a really good deck in the Japanese format. He played possibly the worst game of Guardian I'd ever seen anyone play. Like, it was just like no climaxes, no like just nothing to plus with the entire game. Like the only time he played a climax was the turn before he died. So basically he was level 3 and that was the first time he played a climax that game. So I feel like I got incredibly lucky, but I feel like that game would have been pretty decent for me because he was playing the Kotori build, and Kotori is decently big, but this gets over the Kotoris pretty easily, even if he has the Lucia back row. Round 3, I played against Juno, playing Railgun. interesting thing about that. He won the event. Congratulations to Juno. Check out JKTCG for all your English needs.
Damn, I'm sauced here.
So a really interesting thing about Railgun in this deck, I discovered this very interesting dichotomy. I hope I'm using that word right. So, Railgun, pretty famous for being able to snipe level 3s. It's like a good Railgun turn is you're responding to their early plays with your early plays and using your combo to just outright kill them. June found an early play, and then he realized that he couldn't kill my early play Tsubasas because they were level 4s. So that was a very saucy interaction. I believe saucy is a word you would use.
Yep.
But he won because canceling's OP. Right? And then I played Chain Chronicle. I played Chain Chronicle round 4. I lost to him. It was like a yellow-red build. I'm not very familiar with Chain Chronicle. I don't know how standard it was. But it was a game where he played into my my anti-salvage, and all his characters got -3 soul, and he was still just ahead in damage the whole game. I had a bunch of climaxes in my hand. I couldn't find any of my Rize's. There was a point where my clock was literally runner Rize, runner Rize, runner Rize. And you just can't do anything in games like that. So I feel like my results from this tournament of having 2 opponents that rolled over and 2 opponents that didn't roll over probably doesn't say a lot for the deck. But overall in testing, I've been very successful with it. I think it was a very interesting deck to take just because if someone sees Symphogear cards, I don't expect someone to really know like a lot of Symphogear cards because there's so many cards and so many different decks that can be built. And even if they do know Symphogear cards, if they see some of these like key pieces, they would assume I'm on like the red-blue variant, the variant with the Kanade combo, and they might not react accordingly to what my build actually is. And I think that is a potentially strong factor.
All right. I got one last question before we wrap this up. AOT, Guardian, whatever you want to think is really good, but I think those 2 are often in people's list. Very good decks, right? And you talked about plusing at 0 with your runner, your clock bond. This combo, going into a field with Guardian, AOT. How did you prepare to combat that if you weren't able to get your pluses off as well?
So if I wasn't able to get my 0 pluses?
Yeah, it seems hard, right?
Yeah, it certainly is hard. Some games are bad. I do think I tested this deck enough to understand what ends up happening in a lot of those scenarios. What's nice is, so I play, well, let's call this like 8 plussing zeros and then a way to set up my plussing zeros, or find this one at least. I can't find this one, I just need to open this. It seems very hard for me to brick at 0 and then transition into a shaky 1. But it does happen. Sometimes you're able to stabilize just because of this card. This can be a very hard card to deal with.
Even for AOT, yeah, that's true.
The problem therein lies, though, I don't think it's necessarily this deck, but if any deck missed their plussing zeros and then played a deck that could deny their pluses at 1, like any deck is going to struggle. This deck might struggle more in the long run because I think it does lack some of the tools that some of the other really good decks in the game have. But yeah, like just based on how many games I've played where I just completely whiff, I don't get the pants climax at 1, and I still have 7 cards in hand. I still am at a decent place in damage. I have like 8 stock, 7-8 stock. I'm pretty confident in this deck's performance generally.
Because of how cheap these are, right? And then how like efficient your zeros. Like these are some efficient. Yeah, I feel you. So,
and like that's another thing. I want this deck to be very efficient. That's why there's mostly 3 and 4 ups. I want to be able to try to assemble my own combo, fairly easily without Minami. Because relying on Minami to assemble what is usually a 5 to 7 card combo is not reliable in the slightest. It can patch holes, but it's not going to fix everything.
All right, dope. Thank you, Miles, for the profile. Wish we could have done better, but sometimes it's way short. So
no, it's cool.
Just gotta love anime, and shout outs to Strictly. Oh, you want a shout out?
Yeah. I got some videos up on YouTube. Don't have custom URL yet, so I'm just gonna have to give the URL to UA.
Check out his channel. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Me and a friend, we talk about Japanese meta. We haven't released one in I think a couple weeks, but we were really preparing for Nats. We kind of like analyzed the deck maybe like half a year, I guess almost a full year for the couple sets we talked about. But basically, we're just trying to give context to how the decks have evolved and what their place in the meta is versus like where people initially thought it might be. I think it's interesting and fun. So yeah,
dope.
check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Butts, no, what's the channel? Uncle Butts? Brunch Before Waist Shorts, right? That's the channel?
Well, Brunch Before White Shorts is like the video series.
Yeah.
Like the YouTube username is Uncle Butts. I don't really know how this works.
All right, awesome, man. Thanks for the profile. Hopefully,
Hell yeah.
we'll see more of you, more Symphogear in the future. And yeah, Strictly Broken. Oh, Strictly Broken TCG, best website to buy waist shorts, not JKTCG. I'll see you guys next time.
Yo.
I love you, June. I love you, June.